PHP variables can store many different types of information. For the time being, let's just focus on how you store numbers and text in a variable. We'll also look at the important role the semicolon plays in PHP. This page, variables.php, contains a simple template for a web page about a book. I'm going to add my PHP code above the doc type. So if I put my insertion point up there, add in a couple of extra lines, then an opening PHP tag, open angle bracket, question mark, PHP, then down here a closing tag, which is a question mark, and a closing angle bracket. It might seem strange to you that I'm putting the PHP code above the doc type, but remember, PHP code is processed by the server, and that's where it stays. So as long as the PHP code doesn't output any HTML, it's okay above the doc type. That will remain at the top of the page when it's received by the browser. So let's add our first variable. This one will be a number. We'll call it answer. Variables always begin with a $sign, so $answer. Then an equal sign. Numbers don't need to be in quotes, so just 42 and then a semicolon. You can also have decimal points in numbers, so let's have another variable for price. $, price, and then equals 10.99 and a semicolon. Now, if you've been used to working with JavaScript, you might say, oh, why do I need a semicolon at the end every time? Well, let's see what happens if I remove the semicolon after that 42. I'll save the page, go to my browser, and it's 01_04, and the name of the page was variables.php, and I've got this awful error message. There's a special chapter at the end of this course that deals with error messages, what they mean and how to get rid of the problem. All we need to know in this particular case is that what has happened is I've left out that semicolon. Semicolons might be optional in JavaScript, but they're not optional in PHP. Let's go back to my editor. PHP is written in a series of commands, and the only way that PHP knows that the command has come to an end is with that semicolon. If I add it back in, save the page, and reload the page in the browser, it now displays correctly. It's not displaying the content of the variable because I haven't added that code yet, but the page is now displaying correctly, and that's the important thing. So let's add some more. This time we're going to add some text. And in common with other programming languages, PHP calls text strings. It's a piece of technical jargon that you'll hear over and over again. So let's add a variable. We'll call this one title, equals sign, and strings or text need to be in matching quotes. You can use single quotes or double quotes. The recommended practice is to use single quotes wherever practicable. So let's try that. Single quote. And the title I'm going to use is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Because I'm using Dreamweaver, which has got live syntax checking, it tells me that there's an error on line 4. That's this red mark here. And the problem is that I've got an apostrophe in the middle of my string. And what happens is that PHP regards that apostrophe as being the closing matching quote. One way to get around this is to put a backslash in front of an apostrophe. And the syntax warning has gone away. So that does fix it, but it looks rather ugly and it's difficult to read. So that's the point about wherever practical, use single quotes. It's not really practical here, so let's change it to double quotes. And the syntax warnings have gone away. Let's add another variable. This one will be for author, always beginning, of course, with that $sign, and the author is Douglas Adams. And one final variable, this will be a description, and this time I'm going to spread it over several lines, and it won't be until we get to that semicolon that PHP will know that the statement is at an end. So there we are. We've spread this over several lines and we've finished it with a semicolon. So to assign a value to a variable, use the equals sign. Put the variable on the left and the value on the right. Numbers don't need to be in quotes, but strings or text must be in matching quotes. I follow the recommended practice to use single quotes unless the string contains apostrophes. Then I use double quotes to avoid the need to escape the apostrophe with a backslash. So far, we've assigned values to 5 variables. The next stage is to display them in our web page.